this is all hard work, even to break it loose, and it's pretty costly because it's really hard on the equipment. But we'll test some of this, and I want to see how it looks down there in the lower part of it where I knocked a little bit loose. So, okay, we'll see what we knocked loose down here. I know it looks like a lot of clay, so we don't need much of that in the bucket. And it'll have sections of clay in with but what I wanted to see is down here. Actually, I'm not low enough, because right there is what I wanted to see, but this here should make pretty good. And some of these blocks will have good material on them, just one piece at a time. And here's one of that's fairly good grade. It's not the best, and it's got a line coming through it, so maybe it'll make something and maybe not. What I do is usually preform them down pretty well because there's so many cracks, and I don't want to heat a lot of the things that are not good. See the little crystals and things in there that aren't so good. A lot of crystals, and that really is not a good piece. Some of these, a lot of crystals again, not very good. This ledge here is the one I wanted to get down below it even, but there'll be sections in here that are good, so this should be pretty good. A lot of crystals, so that's not very good either. Not to say that it won't make an arrowhead. It just when you heat a piece like this, it'll be better. You can flake it better. Unheated, they just do not flake well. So I didn't knock, at least I got some of the top removed. So as I go on down in it, you can't really see the colors in there, but there's all kinds of colors, all kinds of crystal pockets. This piece will have a lot of yellows. Different grades. They're a little bit grainier up here than they will be down in the lower level. A lot of times, if I don't want to use a hammer, the hydraulic hammer and things on them, like this ledge here, it's already, you can hear it's fairly loose. That is tight. So what I do is instead of breaking them, I just try to go under a layer. I should use a bar, but I have a hammer. See how it's coming loose. Most of this part back in here is pretty much layered, so it'll be, and you can see how dark it is, so I know that's what's the better napping material. I'll flake a little off of here so you can see. Let's see the yellows and tans, and if it flakes, if you run a long flake, you know it's pretty good grade. It is so sensitive when you heat it. That's a good signal for Flint Ridge flint when you heat it, because if you get it much thicker, you get a lot of heat cracks inside it. And when the reason I know that is when you see this flint has little lines, and the heat will penetrate that quicker than the solid seam. So, and that's then it expands it quicker. So that's why it doesn't want to heat properly. So there's just a whole edge of that flint right in here, and you can see this is all layered good for nabbing material, and it looks so rich when you pull it out and it's still wet. And as soon as it dries out, the colors will disappear, and when you heat it, the colors return again. This is a pretty tough one. Yellows and purples in there. And it's just got to test every piece. Unless you like to haul a lot of cracked flint around. This particular one has so many little lines running all the way through the thing. It has one coming up through here, one going there. A lot of those you can flake across them, but there are also those that you can't. This one's got a lot of problems. Open sections in it. There it has a line coming this way and this way, so it's got like a cross section in there, and that stalls your flake a lot of times. That's the other thing is that this has already been taken off by the Indians. So the layer I'm on now will have more lines and cracks. When they were on top where the cap rock is, it didn't have as much of that. So that's why they liked that cap rock, and then they moved on. That's why there's still some left for us. Here's this part here, I didn't talk about this, but there's like between the two heads, there's a gap. And I don't know if I can show you where the clay, right there, this is where the clay is in between the seam, and that's what the Indians, they followed those cracks. And you look at this here once, there's nothing but clay down in there after I get a wall of clay, and that's where all the real high grade flint is. And I'll try to try some of these rooms. Maybe there is a good one here we can blank it out. Lots of cracks. A lot of times if I like it a lot, this piece will probably end up having green in it. What I'll do is keep blanking on this one maybe. You can see the flakes that are coming off. Takes a lot of hits to get one blade out of them. You can see the little speckly yellows and tans in there. I just abrade a little bit with the billet. This is probably a little heavy a billet to do the final work. Even a little bit of blues showed up in there. sometimes this goes pretty fast and sometimes it goes pretty slow. And this flint is fairly translucent. You can't really see it, but not just little small flakes, but in the raw it is. This is not a real big one, but 99% of them aren't very big. This is starting to turn into a blade. The one thing about the difference between the heated and the unheated, I use this big billet and to drive a flake because it is so much stronger flint and tougher to get the flake to move. And unheated, you probably have to hit it twice as hard or a heavier billet than with the heated. And that's why I use the big one right now, but I don't have another one in the pit, so that's why I'm using this one. And they basically use these hammerstones. When you look at this hammerstone, that's basically what this was a spalling hammer, and it also abraded while they were at it. Well, the flake isn't moving very much, but it's because there's mud on it. But that's the difference between heated and, you know, a lot of people say if it's wet it'll flake better, and that may be. I think if a person thinks that, then anyhow, that's a little blade, and it's, you know, a couple more platforms and a couple of good flakes, and this actually could be notched now, but it's a cutting tool the way it is. Okay, that pretty much is it for the day. I got a lot of rock laying here that needs to be tested, and that'll take up most of the day.